Hi guys. So actually, can I move this forward? Can a little bit. Forgot about that. Move it forward a bit. Hi guys, welcome to another. Okay, I can't move it forward. I'm gonna leave it there because I don't want to annoy this. Welcome to another Ask T live Q&A. Yes, we are vertical today. I will explain why. I am also doing it from my car. I've never done an Ask T live from my car before, but that is what is going to happen today. So today is the 31st of July 2025. If you are watching the replay, hello, welcome. My name is Pura Thompson. I am a sprinter. I'm also a speed coach, also a personal trainer, and my channel is dedicated to sharing my journey on the track, sharing my journey. Obviously track journey is not just the natural stuff that happens, the spiritual stuff that happens, the emotional stuff that happens, but also helping other athletes and fitness enthusiasts to master faster. So welcome to our monthly Q&A. I've got a lot of questions here on my Remarkable. I'm going to be going through them. Yes, I'm in my car, so if you have seen any of the posts on my YouTube channel, you will know that this weekend just gone was the England champs. This weekend coming is the British champs, and unfortunately I will not be able to compete in the British champs coming up because at the England champs I actually sustained an injury, and it happened after the race actually. So one of the girls fell into my lane after crossing the line, and in an attempt to not step on her, I ended up twisting my knee. So I need to be sitting down, which I'm doing today. So I usually do my live standing up, and I hope you guys can hear me because I've been trying to figure out where I'm gonna go. So I'm now on, I say house arrest, but now housebound, or putting myself on rest for the rest of the week, taking the rest to rest my knee. But I need to do live sitting down, and because it looks like it's gonna rain any second, and we're supposed to be having a gas check soon and stuff like that. So I thought my car is probably the best place for me to do the live, so that is what I'm doing. So please say hi guys, please let me know that you can hear the sound, let me know the sound is good, and I hope that I will be able to see the comments as they come up. So please share this link, let people know that we are live. And yeah, so I will be answering the questions today. Just before I get into it, if you have not signed up for our Pura Track Speed Camp, which is my annual speed camp, we had our first one this January. Say hi guys as you come in, say hi. We had our first one in January just gone, and it was amazing. It's a week-long speed camp for adults. You need to be age 18 and over to actually take part or to participate. Glad you guys can hear me, thank you so much. Yeah, so you need to be an adult to take part, but we had a really great time at the first Pure Track Speed Camp. But I'm just reminding you that registration is open, and today is the last day for the early bird price. So if you are looking to come, you are looking to register and join us amazing people, in January when it's cold, if you're somewhere like in the UK or in Europe where it's cold in the winter in January, and you want to take a break from the cold but continue your speed training on a beautiful island with amazing people with professional coaching, then take a look at my speed camp. Naomi, if you can drop the link in the chat, that would be amazing. It's turimathompson.uk/camp. Early bird price ends today, so from tomorrow the price will go up, but right now up until midnight tonight UK time it will be early bird price. Is that something you're interested in? Make sure you check out that link, make sure you join us guys. We're gonna have a great time. You don't want to be here again this next year going, oh, I missed January. So if you want to come, make sure you check that out, make sure you register as soon as possible. Yeah, I'll say that for now, and if it comes up again I will mention it a bit later. So I'm going to get into the questions guys. Like I said, I've got a lot of questions today. If you have any questions while you're on the live, feel free to drop them in the chat and I'll try and answer those as we go along as well. So hopefully I'll be on here for about an hour maximum. Let's see how we get on. So the first question is from Amiga JB, and he says, hey T, I hope you're well. Are you doing the next Stratford meet? I've signed up but picked up an injury yesterday, so hoping it's just a tweak so I can run there. So with regards to the Stratford meet, that's one of my favorite meetings. It's one of the meetings that we have in the UK in London, and it takes place at the Olympic warm-up track in Stratford, and it's like a Grand Prix. They have one every month, so the next one will be the fourth one of the year, and that'll be in August. So I've managed to do 2 of them. I opened up at the second one, so I opened up late because of my Achilles. I opened up late, but that was amazing. I had a great season up until the point of obviously getting injured. I had a great season, so I opened up there, and I did the second one this month. We're still in July, and I managed to win one of the races. So when you win a race at the Stratford Grand Prix, they have like DJ did all of that, so it's a really great vibe. But you get a picture taken and they put it on Instagram saying like winner and that, so it's really nice. It gives a nice incentive. So no matter where you are, whether you're an Olympian or whether you're just starting, it's a really great meet to do. So if you're someone who has not checked out that meet and has not signed up for that meet, I recommend it. The next one is, I think, in like 2 weeks time or something like that, and because it gets really busy, like it gets really full entries, they limit the entries now, because the men will be having like 40 heats if they could, do you know what I mean? So if you haven't signed up, sign up. So in terms of am I doing the next one, based on the fact that I just got injured on the weekend, I doubt it. I don't think I'm doing it, no, but I will be there, God willing, as coach on that day. So if you are there, JB, it'll be nice to see you, so make sure you come and say hi. Yeah, I hope you can run there as well, because I think it's a really good meeting. But your question is, what's a good strategy to run the 200? The professionals come onto the back straight with pace, but being 40, I don't have that kick. Should I run all out and hold on like I did last season, or come out fast, float for 50, then sprint all out the final 100? Love the content. Also, are you participating in the British Masters? With your time, I'm sure you'll win. There's a lot of like little questions in there. Hey, welcome to the live, guys. Make sure you give this a thumbs up. Yes, we are vertical today. I have to sit down and my car's only plays, and in my car I can only film this way, so that's what we're doing today. Say hi, give it a like, share it with your friends. If you've got questions, drop them in the chat and I'll try and answer them as we go along. So with regards to the 200, obviously JB saying it's based on his age, but I think no matter your age, depending on what kind of training you've done, you can improve your speed endurance, so to speak, right? So you can actually come onto that straight with pace. But I personally think if you don't have that speed endurance, if you haven't got that built that strength right now, if you try to save energy for the end, you're not going to be able to speed up later. So personally, I think it's better to like run to 120, run to 150, and just hold on, because if you're trying to do 50 flow and then pick up again, if you don't have that speed endurance, if you haven't done that work, it's going to be very difficult to pick up pace again. So yeah, I feel like you're probably most likely going to have more chance of running a quicker time if you run to like 120 or 150 and then just hold on. But you can also, if you have more than one, if you've got a few 200 meets, you can kind of play with it, see what's working for you as well. But if by float, because some people float, then they end up slowing down. But if you're actually able to just like relax and keep that speed, then see. But then again, if it takes you longer than 50 to actually get into full acceleration, then 50 float, 50 might not be a good strategy either. So yeah, me personally, if you haven't done the work and you know that you're not going to be able to hold the speed, I'm going to run to 150 and hold on. I'm going to run to 150 and hold on. Am I doing the British Masters? Now the British Masters is in September. Like I said, I'm only like 5 days into this knee injury, so we'll see what the Lord has in store. I would have loved to do it. It was kind of like in the, it's late, it's in September, and I don't normally run in September, so I was like, oh, it would be nice to do it. But now, if I haven't had a scan yet or anything like that, so if I do get a scan and we see like how long the process is, it might give me something to look towards, and I would love to do it. And who knows, I might even do the European Masters, even though I wasn't thinking about doing it before. But now that I can't go to British Champs, and I'm not sure, these little questions that I'm kind of asking the Lord personally. So thank you for your question. JB's got another question. I should have added my PB is 24.90. Oh, that was for the 200, sorry. If I can be cheeky for a second question, I get shin splints and I run 3 times per week, Monday, Wednesday and Saturday. Should I drop the Wednesday and go gym instead? So on 1 week, Monday sprinting, Wednesday gym, Saturday sprinting. Week 2, okay, so week 1, Monday sprinting, Wednesday gym, Saturday sprinting. Week 2, Monday gym, Wednesday sprinting, Saturday gym. So basically like 2 tracks, 1 gym on the first week, and then 2 gyms, 1 track on the second week, is what you're saying, right? Should you do that? So shin splint, and I think I had the question that came in about the the Achilles as well. I'm going to kind of touch on these as well. So Natural Nubian says, as an older sprinter, 60 plus, my Achilles gets tender a lot. What exercises do you recommend? So with the shin splints and Achilles injuries, they're most often what's it called, like stress related injuries. So the injuries that come from too much volume or a quick increase in exercise is often the cause of them, often the trigger of them. So yes, having a 2-week rota works. I think I've shared in some of my videos this year how that's one of the things I've started implementing with my clients, and then also with myself. Having a 2-week rota has been something that has allowed me to get in more things over that 2-week period, but also give your body a chance to recover, especially if you have stress related injuries such as your shin splints or such as Achilles issues. Then having that rota and having like on off with the running, or limiting the amount of running, or spreading out the amount of running over a week, can be really, really beneficial. So, you know, it's a good idea. I wouldn't just say automatically do 2 gyms a week, one sprinting, and do 1 sprinting, 2 gym, one gym. Sorry, I think it depends where you are in the season. Like me personally, when it's in the more thick of the season, so you're now in like the height of the season, track is more important than gym, always. Like, so if it's winter, then yeah, maybe like more gym than track. But it depends what you're doing as well, and it depends what's the major competition that you're like also trying to peak for, because sometimes you start, like I said, you start tapering. So the gym is not necessarily, it's not just to do gym for the sake of doing gym. If you can just have a longer gap between the runs, so like Monday, Wednesday, that can still work. Or if it depends, you need to keep track. That's why I'm an advocate for training diaries, because you need to start keeping track of, first of all, how many runs do you do in a session, what distances do you cover per session, like 300 meters, 600 meters, 1200 meters, like what is the overall distance you cover per session and per week, and start figuring out what volume do you start getting shin splints, what volume does your shin start getting irritated, and also doing the other things that you need to do to minimize injuries or to help yourself. So for example, post sessions icing, post session making sure that you get regular massages, making sure that you stretch and cool down properly, making sure that you foam roll, have a proper warm-up routine. So there's a lot of different things that you can implement to help you. Yes, I think having a 2-week rota, and yes, maybe like spreading out how often you run. So I get the whole, trying to, hey, said, oh, hi Renee. Yeah, so I get the whole spreading out your runs over 2 weeks, but it may not necessarily mean that you need to only run once on 1 week. You may still be able to run twice on the other week. It just might be a different day, if that makes sense. So yeah, train the diary, keeping track, minimizing or optimizing volume, optimizing the amount of runs per session. And it's not just doing gym for the sake of doing gym per se. It depends what your priorities are, isn't it? So yeah, I hope that helps in some way. Okay, next question. Remember guys, if you got questions, you can ask them in the chat on the live as well. So Nebby FR, what is overspeed for? Okay, so I had a little short video that I put on my YouTube channel recently. So that was just a couple of weeks before I went to England Champs, which was last weekend. So Overspeed is a type of training that you do to help you get your legs turning, to help maximize turnover. So when it comes to speed, I've got a really great video on my channel about turnover, speed, what's the word that I'm looking for, turnover, there's another word I'm looking for, times stride length. So you want to be able to maximize how quickly you can turn your legs. Running fast is not just about how quickly you can turn your legs, sorry, it's also about maximizing your stride length. So if you have too long a stride length, you're going to slow down, but if you have too quick a stride length, you end up shortening your stride. So you need to find this optimal balance between the two. It's like taking of those two components to get to run faster. So overspeed helps you to improve the turnover of your legs, because you do it, there's different ways you can do it. If you don't have any tools like a 1080 that pulls you, or a bungee, if you have training partners or someone with a bungee, someone runs first, the bungee pulls you and it's like you like go flying like a catapult sort of thing, and you have to turn your legs in a way that's quicker than you would be able to do naturally in and of yourself. Downhill running is another way to get overspeed, right? So in the video that I shared on my channel where the person asked this question, I was doing it down a very gentle slope, but even just a gentle slope makes a difference, right? And I was also utilizing cones. So I was actually doing both. I was doing overspeed, but through cone ones and mini hurdles to maximize my stride length as well. So basically, overspeed is a way to help you get your legs turning in a way that you can't necessarily do or haven't been able to do up until that point naturally, and then it teaches your body to have to figure out how to cope with that leg speed. If you run downhill, I'm sure everyone's run downhill at least once in their life, even as a kid, and you feel like, oh my gosh, your legs are out of control. But if you do overspeed work, it's a chance to try practicing controlling your legs when they're going very, very fast. And then obviously when you go onto the track now, you're able to turn your legs a bit quicker. You feel like you have a bit more control than you, and you're able to turn them quicker than you was before you do that. So that's why overspeed is good, and it's a good way to do speed work. It's a nice tool that you can add once you get further into the season, or when you want to just increase a bit of increase a little bit of speed. If you want to increase a bit of speed and a bit of turnover of your legs. What do you do 1 to 2 days before a race? Complete rest or something stimulating? Okay, that's a good question. So 1 to 2 days, I would do a pre-meet. I would do a pre-meet. So whether you do your pre-meet 1 day before or whether you do your pre-meet 2 days before is up to you. I don't really know anyone who necessarily does it like 3 days before, although you can, it's not that you can't, but generally speaking, me personally, I tend to do it either the day before or 2 days before, and then depending on which one I do will be kind of change what I do in my pre-meet. But basically that pre-meet is your last session before you race, and it is something stimulating. It basically gets your body ready to be able to run on that day. So you might have found this in training, for example, that there's some sessions you do before another speed. If you've done a speed session a few days before, then you find it easy for your legs to turn in the next session. If you haven't run for a few days, sometimes your legs feel a bit like it takes a few runs before your legs really start turning properly. Now when you do a pre-meet, it might include like obviously a normal warm-up, you get your mind ready, whatever. You might do some block starts if you want to just brush up on something. You might do, everyone's different what they might do, but you might do some plyometrics. You might do different things that make you feel fast or explosive without tiring yourself out. Okay, you get to a place where you finish feeling good, your body feels like it's ready to fire, so that when you go for your race maybe the next day or 2 days later, your body's already firing. You feel more, muscles feel more active, alive, awake, ready to go. So basically a pre-meet, and I've got a really great video on my channel about pre-meet. So what to do before you race, how to train before a race, and I've also got a free guide. It's called the Sprinters Pre-Meet Handbook. Naomi, if you can put that link in the chat as well, you'll be able to find it if you go to the shop on my channel. Then you've got like the training diaries and guides, and under there you'll be able to see the Sprinters Premium Handbook. If you put that link directly to the handbook, Naomi, so people can download it, but I take you into like really a lot of detail about what to do, what components to add, and how to like build your own pre-meet session, because it's going to be unique for you eventually, but obviously I'm going to give you ideas as to how to start it, and then you can like progress it from there. But basically once you days before a race, you're going to have a pre-meet. Me personally, I'll do my pre-meet 2 days before, and then I'll rest the day before. I say rest because most of the time I'm working but basically, or traveling. And that's another thing that plays a factor, is whether you're traveling or not, right? So whether you're traveling depends when you can do your pre-meet, what the situation is. Are you staying in a hotel, what you have access to as to when you can do your pre-meet, and what your pre-meet looks like. So 1 to 2 days before, there's going to be an element of rest. There's going to be a pre-meet. Which days you do which is going to depend. Me personally, I tend to go, like I said, a pre-meet 2 days before that pre-meet. I will tend to give myself like 2 days rest. I'm one of those athletes who operates better off of rest. When I'm tired, I find it really hard to fire, so when I have a bit more rest, I tend to run a bit better. Do you do different drills if you're doing different sessions, like speed endurance or starts? I don't tend to do different drills depending on the session in terms of like that, but I do have different sets of drills that I do on different days, just so that I can touch on different drills. But in terms of whether it's speed endurance or blocked, I don't do different drills per se, but you might do different but depending on where you are in the season, how much volume you want to do in a session. So for example, when it's like deeper winter and I've got like a lot more, let's say more volume for the speed endurance or whatever, or I know that I'm going to find this session really difficult, I'm not going to, let's say it's like a speed endurance session, but it's like one of those ones where recovery is shorter and you get like yeah, more lactic or that sort of session, I'm not going to do like plyometrics on that day because I just know I won't be able to do the runs. Whereas on a more speed based day, I can do more plyometrics. I can do a lot more short, like I'm very good at, I can do lots of like short explosive things, like a lot of it. But if it comes to like the longer stuff, I can't do like loads of it. So I have to make myself be as fresh as possible so I can get the most out of those kind of sessions. So different drills in terms of like A skips, B skips, high knees, that kind of thing. I don't, it's not specific on the whether it's speed endurance or like starts or stuff, something like that, but I do have different sets of drills that I do on different days that I can touch on different drills, if that makes sense overall. Okay, I'm a Kyle underscore. What are the best ways for beginners to track progress for a 60 meters after? Okay, what are the best ways for sprinters? What are the best ways for beginners to track progress for a 60 meters? He's got another question. After warm-ups, A skips, high knees, butt kicks, etc. Is 5 times 60 meters, 6 minutes rest between a decent way of training? To clarify, I'm 32 years old and I don't have a track or field background. I'm doing this for general fitness as sprints have become the primary cardio aspect of my training, coupled with my main focus of strength training. My sprints are self-timed with a stopwatch, and I also use an app to record speed over distance. While finishing times are consistently within a zero point 0.5 range, it's difficult to determine if I'm improving, or if my hand timing is just quicker or slower that day. Using phone for max speed tracking adds its own variability from both the speed of the individual sprint itself and the accuracy of the GPS. I suppose there's only so much you can do solo, but any tips or methods would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. All right, loaded question, but a good question. So basically, if you're welcome to the world of sprinting, even though you said you're not doing it, you're just doing it for fitness. However, that's what everyone says. I'm joking. That's where you start, but you never know because you always want to. Once you still start wanting to improve, then yeah, you never know where you're gonna take. You never know where it's gonna take you. But yeah. So in terms of in generally 5 times 60 meters, 6 minutes rest, like it's a decent session. It's not, there's nothing wrong with the session per se, but with anything and just with the principles of like overload and progression, if that's the only sprint session you do, at some point your body's just going to kind of like plateau a little bit, right? So you've got to like kind of switch things up or make changes so that you can actually improve rather than just running it the same way. So there's going to be some aspects where you're going to have to improve your technique, some aspects where you're going to have to work on the technical model of the run so you can actually get better at that run, so to speak. But the best way is to track the progress. So there's an app called Photo Finish. So obviously I train by myself too. I'm also a self-coach athlete. As well as being a coach, as well as being a personal trainer, I'm a self-coach athlete. So in terms of being able to track your progress, track your timing, it's very important to help you progress. I will say that from personal experience. There's more expensive ways and there's cheaper ways, right? So more expensive way is going to be getting something like a timing system such as Freelap that's going to cost you like 500 plus pounds, or I don't know, whatever currency you have, right? It's going to cost you around that plus, depending on what you want to get in that package. But you've also got more affordable options that's still very accurate. So these are all like what's it called, fully automated fully automated timing systems, electronic timing system that you can use. So there's also an app called Photo Finish that allows you to also take electronic timed or fully automated timing from your run, so where you're able to not have to do it by hand like this, where you're able to cross the phone or cross the line, and the phone is able to take from your movement, be able to start and stop time. Now I again have so with regards to the Photo Finish app, which is a good option, all I'll say that you need to make sure that you need 2 phones. So only one of the phones on the Photo Finish app is gonna need to have the app on it, and the app is very affordable. I think it's like £8.99 a month, or you can pay for the year and you pay like £80 for the year. But if you use my code, which I've got, know me, so on my website, if you go to collabs and you copy the link under collabs that has the Photo Finish link, that allows people to get the discount. So if you use my code, if you use my link, you are able to get 20% off for 5 months. So that's a very good option. So if you're really interested in tracking your timing and seeing what time you're really running, because like you said, hand timing is good to a degree, especially if you're doing longer runs. But when you want to get into the nitty-gritty of the shorter sprints, you really need like electronic times. You really do. I know people get onto me because I say electronic times. Fully automated timing, you need it, right? Because that's how you're going to get the more accurate understanding of where you're at. Like being self-coached without having like a timing system, I just wouldn't know where I am going into a competition. It would just be so difficult. And in training, you wouldn't know where you're progressing or where you need to improve. So you just need it. The photo finish is a really good option, a more affordable option. You just need an app. Like I said, you'll need 2 phones though, and you need to keep both of those phones charged so you can use them whenever, and you'll need tripods as well. But I have a whole video about photo finish app. So if Naomi can put in the link that I mentioned for the photo finish app, and if you search my channel, I've got a video about the photo finish app as well. I've got a couple of videos, but it's a way for you to track your timing. So basically, you need a timing system. That's what you need. And then with regards to the session itself, like I said, it's a good session, but it's you need to if you're trying to, let's say you're trying to improve 60, you need to break it up. You need to work on your technique. Breaking up might mean working on your first 10 sometimes, working on your max velocity in the middle sometimes, working on your upright running, working on your acceleration. That can also mean doing a bit more over distance for the 60 so that your 60 gets better. If you just do 60, 60, 60, not changing anything, there's only so much you're going to improve, if that makes sense. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that's helpful. That was quite a big question, so I might have missed some things, but I'm a Kyle _ let me know if that helps you. Lionel Messi, could you please tell me some exercises to do for top speed without gym? Okay. Do you have access to a track? If you have access to a track, we spoke about Overspeed today already. So if you came in late to the live, then just kind of like circle back and see where we spoke about Overspeed and the benefits of Overspeed. You've got sessions such as flies, right? So that could be, you've never done flies before. Essentially what you do is you give yourself a chance to accelerate, then you're in your upright running and you work on your top speed there, and then you slow down, right? Or you decelerate after that. But you can do flying 10s, you can do flying 20s, you do flying 30s. You don't tend to do flies over longer than that, just because it's about holding your top speed and working on that area. Also, if you have access you can always purchase like mini hurdles, which helps you to make sure that you're getting your knee up and opening up, so you space them so that you're able to work on your upright running but spacing them out. What do you say, exercises to do, isn't it, you said, to do for top speed without gym? Yeah, so again, so plyometrics. Again, when you're in your upright running, being able to be plyometric off the floor, producing a lot of vertical force, that's going to be important. So there's a lot of things you can do without gym in terms of working on your top speed. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this, taking notes. Thank you very, very much. How do you work around hip flexor soreness or tightness where it hasn't been strained but it might go if unaddressed? How do you work around it? Yeah, so like you said, do you have a good self-management routine? So I have a very extensive like warm-up routine. I call it self-management initially before getting into like the warm-up actual stuff in terms of like drills and dynamics and stuff. But having a really good hip routine that you do on a regular basis to help you open up your hips, right? If you are very, very tight, it's like you said, it's addressing that. So getting regular massages, massaging the area, getting the massages so that your glutes, you know, your hamstring, the area, other areas, quads, other areas are also loosened up as well, so you're not so tight. Soreness or tightness, and managing when you run, because if it's not just like normal sore but it's like really tight and then you go and run like more than just like dom sore, and it's actually like that tightness, like you said, that can lead to injury, there's no point trying to push it and then run that day. It's like, can you rearrange your week? Sometimes just look at your week and say, can I change the day? I was meant to run today, can I run in 2 days instead? Like, it's not a crime. Like, you can actually change the order of your week if you need to. So it's that thing of not just waiting until things are hurting or you have issues to sort things out, but if possible, getting a massage as regularly as you can. If you have rather than just maybe stretching and warming up when things, just however, having a routine that adjusts everything. So even when the hips still feel good, you still address the hips all the time, making sure that you cool down properly as well, right? So yeah, so does that help? Alpha Moby 93, does that help you? Alphamobi 93 has also asked me a question on here that I'm going to answer. How do you get in a competitive state of mind? Sometimes my performance drops in a race relative to how I run in training and I feel flat on the start line. I thought this was a really, really good question. So mindset is really one of those big things to overcome when it comes to competition. So how do you get in a competitive mindset? So getting in a competitive mindset, I think, starts from training, where I keep banging on about having a routine, because a routine helps to minimize stress. It helps you to have less things to think about. It helps you to have this connection between like your mind and your body, where when I do this, it means I'm doing this. So your body's used to this thing. So it's one less thing to think about. On competition day, there's so many stimuluses. There's so much going on. So it could be, you could wake up and it's not a sunny day. When it's a sunny day, you feel happy in general. When it's a grey, gloomy day like today, people don't feel so happy. So let's say you wake up, it's race day, but oh man, it's proper windy, or you arrive at the track and it's a headwind, or it's raining, grey and cloudy. So that can put a damper onto how you feel. But if you have one less thing to think about, you get there, you see all these people, there's loads of people, you go to a competition like the Stratford meet we were talking about before, it's your first time doing a competition like that, you're seeing Olympians, you're thinking, oh my days, you're getting nervous, you're not running against them, but it's just being in that environment, it's a lot, right? So there's a lot of things that can be happening. So if you have a routine, that's one less thing to think about, rather than thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to warm up, like trying to change things and like change everything like that. So having a routine all the way back from training, so if you feel in control of that, at least you feel in control of that. Even writing down before a competition like your race day plan, so it might be like, I'm going to wake up at this time, I'm going to eat this, I'm going to shower at this time, I'm going to arrive at the track at this time. So having a plan helps you to feel more prepared, it helps you feel more confident. So again, that's one way to help initially get your mind ready. So you just go through the checklist of the things you need to do, from waking up, eating breakfast, like getting ready, like all of that stuff, traveling. That's one thing. Two thing, like you just go step by step, you do one thing at a time. You get to the track, you're like checking in, you're doing all that stuff, then you go through your routine and your warm-up. Now in terms of like, I know exactly what you mean in terms of like feeling flat. It's not every day you're going to feel like I'm ready. Sometimes you're not, so you have to like psych yourself up. So having maybe like cue words or like sentences that you say to yourself that get you into the mindset of how you're going to run. So like for me personally, I've just been saying all this, like this year, obviously it might sound cliche, but it's one of those things where for me this year is like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like for me, that's one of the things I've been saying, is like I can do all things, like the Lord is with me, like he's graced me to do this, like I can do this. So having things that you say to yourself, that you repeat to yourself, like helps you to get into the mindset of feeling confident. It's like, you know what to do, I've done this a million times. Trust me, you know how to run, I know how to run, I deserve to be here, I've done this a million times, I know exactly what to do. And like I said, if you have the if you train by yourself, if you have the data that confirms, you go into a competition feeling confident because you have the data to confirm. So for example, some of the questions I've been asked today about how do you track your progress, if you're, especially if you're a solo athlete, and also what was the other one, the pre-meet question, those two things. So for example, me as a self-coached athlete now, let's say I ran 11:55 on the weekend. Now praise the Lord, hallelujah, yeah. First of all, I haven't run that time, I haven't run 11:5 for 14 years. 14 years is a very long time. Now, I could go into that race confident. So if we're talking like practicalities now, I have a timing system. So all year, I've actually been seeing time. There's been at the beginning of the year when I'm thinking, is it a fluke? Is it a fluke? They're saying, if you keep running these times in training, you see, like, I break, again, going back to that question about the 60 meters, I don't just do 60 all the time. You break up your race. You're saying, okay, my 10s are faster, my 30s are faster, my flies are faster, my longer runs are faster, my flying hundreds, my this. You're seeing all the data and everything confirming that you're running faster. You have data to back you up. So you feel confident because the data proves something. Then as an example, when I opened up my season, I did a test run of 100 meters. So before the run, before my first race, which was in June, end of June, I did a model 100, just that my first 100 meters is not in the competition. I've done it before the race, so that's a good thing to do as well, to do a model race before you race, so you feel like I've done this, I know what to do. It's not I'm waiting till the day to do it. Now in that first, let's say I was doing it for a couple of weeks, I was in the 12, I was like, oh, this is not what I want to see. But obviously I was super tired, so I had 2 weeks out before my race. I was like, I need to get fresh because when I'm tired I can't run. And then I did an 11:9 T2 or something like that in training. I was like, okay, cool. That gave me confidence because if I ran 11 seconds in training, I can run 11 seconds in the competition. Now from my history, I know that I normally run 2 times quicker in a competition than I do in a training session. So I then was like, going into the race, I'm expecting to run 11:7 today because of what I've just done in training like 2 days ago or Monday or whatever it was, right? Now, in the race, I ended up running 11:67, which was a pleasant surprise. I ran 11:69, 11:67, so it was a pleasant surprise, but the data confirmed that I can run those things. So mentally I'm in a state of mind because I have the data to back me up, is the point I'm making. So now going into the race I had last week, in my model 100 before my race, I ran 11:82, which is again quicker than I ran in my first race model run. So now I'm like expecting to run quicker because I did a better run in training. So I'm giving that analogy, sharing that just to say that the data is one way also to help you feel confident going into a race, because confidence helps you to feel in a competitive state of mind. When you're not confident and you're not sure, it's very difficult to have that competitive state of mind because you feel like, oh, I don't really know how I'm going to do. Whereas when you feel confident, you feel like, yes, I can do that. And when you're saying I can do this, you know, I've done this a million times before, you've got lots of things to back up why you're saying that. It's not just something you're just trying to psych yourself up or like, what's it called, be like delude yourself, because you actually have the data to prove what you're saying. So those are some practical tips in terms of mentally and data wise. The last thing I would say is I've been making the most of like sports, what's it called, sports nutrition, in terms of like energy drinks and like caffeine gum. Like I actually use them in competition. So I don't drink coffee on a normal day, so for me taking a caffeine gum in a competition actually is going to give me that extra like alertness, because I don't drink coffee all the time. So you can actually make use of like sports, I can't think of the word I want to say sports aid, like the word I'm trying to think, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? You can make use of those things. If you need to drink energy drinks, if you need to drink caffeine gum, drink caffeine gum. If you need to take caffeine in some way, shape or form, the gum is easy to take, that's why I say that. But basically stuff, that legal things, yeah, that can actually help you feel more alert, that's very, very useful as well, right? So does that help you? Is that a good answer, guys? I hope it is. I hope that's very, very helpful. Let me know in the comment section below. How am I doing, guys? How am I doing on this live? Please give this a big thumbs up if you're finding this useful. Share it with a friend. Yes. Okay. Are you guys still there? I feel like I've lost you. Are you there? Are you still there? Okay. Am I still live? Am I still there? Am I still live, guys? Am I still live? I'll wait for one comment because I can't see if I'm still live. Did I lose the stream? Oh no. Am I still live, guys? I think I'm lost. Oh no. Okay, let me come back. No. I'm not getting any comments. Am I still live, guys? Can you still hear me? Oh dear. Alright, guys, can you hear me? I can't even see the screen now. This is not good. I can't see anything. I don't want to log out. I can't even press end. Okay, let me try to do this. Oh my days, what is happening here? I can't even log out. Okay, let me see. Can you guys hear me? I don't know what happened there. Hope your recovery well for next year. Thank you so much. All right, can you hear me? Am I back? Am I good? Let me know before I carry on talking. Yes, we're here. You're doing great. Still here. You're still live. Great stuff. Never try pre-workout. I'm going back up because I missed all these comments. Right, I just need a... Okay, I think I'm back. All right, let me just scroll up again. You guys, I couldn't see anything. It just decided to be annoying. Okay, let me have a quick look. Anthony, also a question, I think. Chima, thank you. You were live the whole time. LOL. LOL. I couldn't see. It was just like blank. It was just like, yeah, it just, I don't know what happened, to be honest. Okay, never tried pre-workout. Personally, no, I haven't, but pretty much everyone around me has. Hey T, sorry for joining late and thanks for answering my question. Rest up and hopefully you're able to come back stronger next year. Thank you so much, and hopefully, prayerfully, by God's grace too. Okay, let me carry on with the questions. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you for being patient with me. Yeah, so Afamobi93, did that answer your question, by the way? I hope it did. Okay, Michael Blount 2522, what has your experience been with Antepes running shoes? I have no experience with them. I'm very sorry, I can't answer that question. And my second question, is there one thing you must do when trying to come back from an injury or surgery? I saw this question, and do you know what my answer is? What you must do? You must be patient. You must be patient. Like, you have to be patient. It's so hard, especially as an athlete. You just want to get back, you just want to, you know, yeah, but you have to be patient. You have to be patient, guys. Am I still live? Because I don't know the comment. Basically, I can't see any more comments, so I'm going to carry on talking because I can see the time going, but I cannot see any more comments. So if you're asking questions, I'm so sorry. I can only now do what I have on my thing, because okay, I can see you guys now, thank you. Okay. But you have to be patient, yeah. It's very easy to rush the process, but then sometimes you rush it, you end up re-injuring yourself. So you just need to be patient, and you need to create a plan. You need to be patient and you need to create a plan. And sometimes it's a case of sticking to the plan, especially when you're coming back from injury. If it's in other aspects, you can like sometimes change the plan, but a lot of times when you come back from injury, it's a lot of time it's better to be safe than sorry in a lot of aspects. So I would say be patient, stick to the plan, and then also when you're coming back from injury, let's say you've got like, oh, these rehab exercises from the physio, or you know, anything like that, stick with them, carry on doing them. So many people start doing it and then, oh, I'm better now, and they stop doing it. But that's the thing that helps you to get healthy. And a lot of times the area that you've injured is a little bit weaker, or what's it called, more susceptible to re-injury. So therefore, continue with your rehab exercises. You can turn them into prehab exercises, right? So I would say that's 3 things I said. Be patient, stick to the plan, and continue, persist. Let's do it in 3 P's, yeah? We're going to say be patient, we're going to say stick to the plan, patient, plan, and persist. Persist with your rehab exercises, your which can become prehab exercises. Yeah, hope that helps. Okay, it's Anthony. How would you start training sprints at a later age? I'm 16. LOL. 16 is not late. Not late when you do have some athletic background. I have played football for over 9 years, and what exercises can I focus on in the gym for explosiveness in my start? Much love. I just discovered your channel and I'm loving it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you are enjoying my channel and that there's some helpful things on there for you. 16 is not late, my dear. It's very, very young. It's very, very young. 16 is less than half my age. It's even less than half my age. Does that make sense? Even more than half my age, less than half my age, whatever. Yep, the 3 P's: patient, plan, and persist. So yeah, 16 is not late, really. I guess if you're comparing yourself to someone who started at 8, then it's late, but it's not late in the grand scheme of things. Let's say you do make it to a professional level, then you can be competing until you're 32. That's like general as a man, right? So you still got your whole life that you just lived again to have. So 16 is not late. It's not late. And if you have some athletic background already, you're in a good position to you're able to train. Like literally, I think somebody answered a question on there, but it is that general principle of like, go and find a local club. I don't know if you're in the UK or elsewhere. Join the local club, yeah, start training with a coach, find a coach, train with a coach, and that might begin with like 3 times a week, 4 times a week. Obviously you're 16, so you could progress into like 3-4 times quite quickly. And usually if you're in a training group, then they will have gym training as well, at least once a week, like by the time you're 16. So if you have some general athletic background already because you've done football, and yeah, I don't know if you're UK, so I don't know if football means like soccer football or if it means like American football, I don't know what you mean, but either way, you have some athletic background, so your body has trained already. Obviously your body will adapt very quickly. So it's really just a case of find a coach, find a club, start training consistently, and look after your body. Think about soccer football, okay. Yeah. Okay, I've seen his answer there. Soccer football, yeah. So football, like if you have training background already, so you've got some condition already, but obviously now you're going to move into sprint. So find a coach, find a club, train, start training consistently, and stick with it. And then obviously, like if you have a good setting, a good group, hopefully your coach can help you to find competition, you're able to enter competition, and you just take it from there. Generally speaking, we normally say like give yourself 2 years of a coach to really start seeing the proper progress. Because you're new to the sport, you probably see progress straight away anyway, because you haven't got that's your first year, so you'll see progress regardless. But like let's say you've been with another coach before and you move, you normally say like give yourself 2 years to really see the change, or to get used to the program and to see the additional progress. But because you're 16, you're still growing, you're still going to get stronger, you're going to see quite a lot of progress, like just from being consistent at training. So the best way to start training is literally find a club, find a coach, and start training with them, and then be consistent with it. Think about what you're doing. Obviously it's easy to just be like out late night with friends all the time, playing games to whatever time all the time, but if you're going to be training a lot regularly, you got to get sleep, you got to make sure you eat properly. Can't be chicken and chips every day. Make sure you eat properly, that sort of thing. Make sure you drink a lot, and if you can, start getting massages like at least once a month as well if you're doing a lot more training. So I hope that helps. What's your plans with track and field, Anthony? Let us know in the comments. And yes, where is everyone watching from today? Where are you tuning in from? Let us know in the comment section. So at Natural Nubian, I mentioned a question earlier but I didn't answer it, so I'm going to try and answer it now. As an older sprinter, 60 plus, my Achilles gets tender a lot. What exercises do you recommend? Let me just take a sip of water. Okay. Oh yeah, sorry. And let me just quickly, Anthony's question. He said, what exercises can I focus on in the gym for explosiveness in my start? Are you doing gym work by yourself? But yeah, obviously, like generally, in terms of if we're going like general strength initially, because power is speed times strength. So you've got the general strength condition. Let's say like the compound exercises like squats, deadlifts, stuff like that. When it comes to single leg, like Bulgarian split squat, stuff like that, it's very good for building the muscle. Then obviously when we come into more explosive, if you can learn to do Olympic lifting, it's not like it's not necessarily a game changer. There's some people that are able to be explosive without it, but if you can learn to do power cleans, hand cleans, if you can learn to do split jerk, if you can learn to if you include like box jumps, if you are able to do like single leg box jumps as well, if you're able to do plyometrics in terms of like that, not necessarily in the gym but outside, if you can get very good plyometrically, those can all help you as well. Yeah. Okay. And even I was gonna say like even including like med ball throws and stuff like that, right? So with regards to the Achilles, so Natural Nubian, the Achilles can be a really frustrating issue. I've personally dealt with it myself, which I'm sure you know as well. So Achilles issue is not necessarily just because you're older, but one of the issues that when you get older is that things just take a bit longer to heal, right? So that's probably one of the issues that you're having. Well, I'm more into track and sprinting, not necessarily for the time or competition, but just more for discipline and healthy mindset. But maybe join competition when I'm in university. Okay, so you're training by yourself then, you're trying to say. But still, even if you're just doing it for fitness, especially because you're so young, it will be very beneficial to just have a group that you're training with, like for the mindset, for the social side of it, because athletics socially is like really great. And also having a coaching eye, even if you're not going to compete, like having someone who's able to help you technically, because a lot of footballers don't run great, I'll be honest, they don't. So obviously now I'm a speed coach too, so having a lot of footballers come to you to help you with speed, help with the technique and stuff like that, it helps you to avoid injuries. That's the truth. So if you can have a coach looking at you in training, then it can help you train properly, and avoid injury. So have the right technique to avoid injury. So still recommend finding a coach if you can, or a club where you can train, even if it's Tuesdays and Thursdays that you go down there, and another day that you go gym by yourself. That's still a good option. I think it's still a good option for you. Yeah, so with Achilles, yeah, as you get older though, like I said, the issue, Achilles, like I said, is a stress related injury most of the time, because due to like repetition, too much repetition, or overload too quickly, volume, like too much volume too quickly, and the Achilles can't handle the volume or can't handle the load. It's not strong enough to do it, so it gets stressed and strained. Now as you get older, it takes longer for your body to heal. Tendons can take longer to heal. That's probably the issue that you're having if it gets tender a lot. So it's looking at what I said to some people, I answered that to earlier, but looking at the volume of your week as a whole. How often do you run? How many runs do you tend to do in a session? And what do you run in? So things that you can think about. And what do you run on surface? So there's a few things that you can think about, and I'll say some exercises in a minute. It's hard to show you because I'm sitting down, but I've got an isometric video on my channel. I think it's from my Sprint and ABC series, where I said I is for isometrics. So in that video, I've got some ones that I do on my calf, so you can check that video out, and that will be a good isometric exercise to add to your training. You could probably do it either pre-session, or you can do it like at the beginning of your gym session. And then also there's some body weight, like body weight slash with dumbbells, where you go up on 2 legs, 2 feet, and then you come down with one heel slowly. So single leg eccentric heel lowers with a dumbbell in your, or a kettlebell in your hand, to add a bit of weight to it. If it's very sore, you can start with no weight, and then as you get a bit stronger, you can add weight to it, like holding a weight in your hand. So basically you need to, the Achilles needs load. It actually likes load, but you need to do it very progressively and slowly in order to strengthen it, so that it can take more. It can take more when you're sprinting. When you sprint, we put like, what is it, 4 times our body weight or whatever through every step in such a split second. So that's probably one of the reasons that it keeps getting sore a lot. But you've never either, first of all, it's backing off completely. We spoke about this last month or a few months ago when I started my season. I had to back off, and I would suggest backing off completely first. So you get to a place where it's complete, like you don't feel it at all. You don't feel it walking, you're not feeling it at all. Then you have to gradually introduce the volume and load again, very slowly. So that might start off in trainers before you try to do spike. If you try to do spike so quickly, probably one of the reasons that you keep getting irritated like regularly and quickly. So like I said, I would do, for example, like if I'm doing, say I'm doing 6 runs, I might do the first 2 or 3 in trainers, then I'm doing 1 or 2 in spiked, and then the last one in spiked, for example. It depends on the day, depends where you are in the journey of recovery, but you have to be mindful of that. It could also mean, for example, doing some runs on the Astro. I drill on the Astro all the time to help my Achilles, so that it has a softer surface. So it's changing the surface, it's what's it called, managing the volume, stuff like that. Okay, so basically, if it gets tender a lot and it's just reoccurring, you got to change some things. So if it's, like I said, first of all, give it a chance to fully recover. Ice, rest, ice, compression, like the normal things. Rest and ice. After every session, icing. It's not just sometimes thing, it's like all the time, right? So basically, the isometric video, check that out. But yeah, it's basically like single leg heel lowers, eccentric lowers, and then calf raises, basically strengthening the calf, strengthening the Achilles, basically is what you need to do. And then the volume wise, introducing it slowly. But I would guess that probably you try to do too much too quickly, or like too fast too quickly, or in spikes too quickly, and that's one of the issues. I know, obviously, let's say I don't know if you're planning to do like the British Masters, European Masters, I'm not sure what the plan is for the year, but the longer you keep letting it be irritated, the more it's gonna just keep hindering. So it's like backing off as much as you can. Make use of the bike if you have to make use of the bike to do speed work, to do speed endurance, until you can start to introduce things again slowly. So you have to change up a little bit. give yourself the best chance, because when your Achilles hurts, you can't put the most pressure through your foot, and then your sessions are not the best sessions you could do anyway. So it's like I said, I've thrown out a lot of things there. Hopefully something in there is helpful. Natural Nubian, please let me know. Renee says, I'm 13, so would I still need to have a massage once a month? It will still be useful. So how many times, Renee, you training 3 times? Yeah, even if you're training 3 times a week, at least once a month is still going to be useful. Like, you're still training, do you know what I mean? Just because you're younger, you're still training. So I still recommend it, like, if you can. Obviously, the more you're training increases and intensifies, and as you get older, you'll feel it more. You just because you're young, you're just getting on and feeling it, but it can still help you, and also it helps you develop that routine from early. Maybe develop a relationship with a masseuse from early as well. What is your favorite VAR? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. So yeah, I still recommend it, because even once a month is still good, still a good shout. Obviously, realistically, if we had trackside, we'll be getting it like a couple of times a week. Once a week is then minimum, but then some of us, we can only do once a month, so we do what we can, right? What is your favorite car? What is my favorite car? Not the car. What's my favorite car? I don't know, but I like the car I got now. I like the car I got now. That's why I got it. That's why I got it. But I don't have a favorite car actually. But I like the car. The car that I got is the car that I wanted, like, right now. So I like the Vauxhall Corsa, the sports version, because I like a sports car. I like a sports car. All right, we're getting near the end, guys. Thank you guys for chilling with me. How have I done? Let me know in the comment section. What's an acceptable time for someone in their later 50s to run 100 meters? What is an acceptable time? Acceptable? What do you mean by acceptable? At 50, if you're in your late 50s, any time that you run 100 meters and you finish the race is acceptable. Am I right, guys? Am I right? Yes, I'm right. I'm right. It's acceptable. That's a good one, because I like massages. Right, when we're talking massages, we're not talking, the one where they stroke you. We're not talking about them ones, yeah? We're not talking about stroking you. We're talking about sports massage to actually help your muscles, right? To get out the knots, because you're putting all that pressure. You're doing all the running, you're doing all the bounding, yeah? Your calves, especially your hamstrings, your quads. We're not talking about stroking massage. You can do that when you're on holiday. You can do that on holiday. But we're talking about the ones that you're going, it's only going to hurt if you don't have a lot of massages and you have them far between. That's when it hurts more, because your muscles get really tight. But yeah, if you have it regularly, it stops hurting so much, hopefully, unless you have like an area that's getting really tight because you added something new or blah blah blah. But we're not talking about stroking, guys. We're talking about sports massages where they get deep. Yeah, deep tissue massages, what we're talking about. Really, you're so funny. Yeah, acceptable time for late 50s. So I just had a look, yeah. So like I said, any time that you run, if you finish the race, it's acceptable. That is, so I don't know the term acceptable. However, what are we talking about? If what time do people run in the world? I went to look at what did they run at the last Worlds, or 2022, for the women's 55 category, so women aged 55 to 59. The winner, the times in the final were between 12:75 and 14:21, which is actually really fast. Yeah, but remember, this is the top in the world. This is in the world, so this is not like, yeah. And I was looking at the world record. Imagine me getting excited at running 11:67 at 35. But Merlin Otti's world record for W50 is 11:67. So if I want to be a world record holder at 50, I need to still be running the same time I'm running now, basically. What time do they run in nowadays? Yeah, so that's the time that was the final. But obviously, in the heat, you got people running from whatever to even like 20 whatever seconds. So it just depends. Like, the fact that you get there, the fact that you can run a race and finish the race healthy, that's a win. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, if you want to win the next Worlds Masters W55, then you're gonna need to be in that 12:75 to 14:21 range, basically. But if you're just looking to compete in something to work towards. But if you're looking to compete anytime, let's say you aim for a sub 20 seconds, and I think that's a good time to aim for as a W55 woman. I think that's a good time to aim for. All right, guys, I think Should I focus more on sprints now, like 60 meters, or aim straight for 100 meters? I can hold my acceleration quite well looking past on my soccer career, but I can still improve more, I believe. So when you say focus more, like, what do you mean? Because like I was saying to I'm a Kyle earlier, like when we train, let's say for example, if you say, because you said you're not looking to compete, so when you say should I focus more on 60, I don't know what you mean, but let's say you're saying, oh, I want to do 60 in a race. Your training is not going to be you just run 60 meters all the time. Like we do, you break up the race. So you do, like, you're going to work on some of, because 60 meters consists of the start, it consists of the dry phase or acceleration, it consists of upright running, and a little bit, maybe depending on how long you're able to hold your max velocity for, it might be like a bit of speed endurance. You're going to need it. Same for the 100, right? You need more speed endurance, so you have to do over distance work too. So it's not just, when you say focus on a 60, I don't know what you mean, but generally speaking, sprint training is not, you don't just run the distance that you're doing. We don't do that. We break it up. So you've got over distance work, you've got speed endurance, and like different types of speed endurance. I'm just saying speed endurance as a general term, but you've got different types of work where you work at different intensities, different recovery time, and stuff like that. And you've got technical work too. So it's not just like, even if you're saying, oh, I'm not going to race, or I'm just going, or if let's say you were saying I'm going to do 60, I'm going to do 100, you still don't just do that in training. You don't just run 60, you don't just run 100. That's not how you train. So yeah, but I can still improve more. Yeah, we can all still improve. Like there's probably loads of things, because even just changing your technique alone would help you to improve. Then even just like doing some more speed work would help you improve. Even just working on your max velocity, even on working on your upright running, your speed endurance, making you more powerful, making you stronger, all of that. So I analyze my start too, and I'm getting upright too fast. Do you have any tips for that? I have a lot of tips for that, but it's very difficult to just share on a video without seeing somebody. But yeah, getting upright too fast. So if you have access to maybe a pulley or a sled or a prowler, it's a good way to help you practice maintaining your position. You can do hill work as well, helps you to practice maintaining your position at a more 45-degree angle, so to speak. And then gradually coming up, but it is something you have to practice. So with any skill, like, you know, for football yourself, like, you have to practice it. If someone wants to be good at scoring goals, what do? They have to keep practicing it. So it's the same thing when you're practicing a skill, like the dry phase. That's what I call it, right? So cone runs is a good way to practice that. What's it called? Progressive acceleration, to gradually open up your stride, gradually come up slowly. So it's like something you have to practice. So you can sometimes slow down the movement to be able to model it, and then add speed to it after. So all right, my peoples, thank you guys so much for joining me. Right, we're going to do the next one of these in September. So if you have any questions after this live, feel free to leave them under any video or under any post, and we'll collate them, and then in the next live we're gonna try to answer them again for you guys. If you're still racing this season, all the best to you guys. Let me know how it's going. I love it when you guys comment, when you share. I'm always willing to hear. And like I said, if you really do want to join us for the next Pura Track Speed Camp, which is happening in January 2026, then make sure that you sign up. Early bird price ends today. From tomorrow the price is going up, but it's going to be a great week of sprinting in the sun during the winter in a lovely environment with amazing people. So thank you so much. Tahia, I see your question. However, I'm going now, and I have to, we got that question is very big. How can I get faster? There's so many things I can say, but my whole channel is dedicated to how to get faster. So please check out the videos if you haven't checked out any of the videos. But thank you guys for joining me. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next Ask T live Q&A or in my next video. Stay blessed, and I'll see you next time.